From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hi, my name is Asia McCrae.
And my name is Cole Bruni, and welcome to The Pulse. It's great to be back. First, we want to congratulate the women's Sacred Heart cheerleading team for winning first place in the UCA National Championship. We were lucky enough to have one of our own, Erica Condon, be part of the team. Here she is with the story.
In January, the Sacred Heart cheerleading team traveled to the ESPN Wide World of Sports in Orlando, Florida, to compete at the most prestigious college cheerleading championships in the country, UCA Nationals. These 20 athletes have spent months preparing for one competition and one performance.
We've been preparing for our nationals competition for 6 months. It starts August 1st. There's so much trust that you need to have in this sport. It's much different than basketball and football. Like, you are putting your lives in other people's hands.
Through their hard work, commitment, and determination, they did the unimaginable and secured first place, earning a national title.
And now, your 2020 national champions, Sacred Heart University.
The Pioneers kicked off their weekend with multiple practices leading up to the day of competition.
Being a college cheerleader has been completely different than in the past when I've cheered, so it's been an experience that I'll never forget. I just wanted to go in and hit our routine and do our best because I didn't want to leave on a bad note.
After their first performance in semifinals, they qualified to move on to the final round.
We're going to the finals! Let's go! Yeah!
After hitting nearly a perfect routine in finals, the team huddled together at the awards ceremony.
And now it's time to announce the second and first place teams for 2020. And this may be the first. We actually have a tie.
So when we were just listening to awards and our names still hadn't been called and we just kept climbing up in the ranks, it was unbelievable.
In the rules, it says, in the event of a first place tie in the final round of competition, the team with the lower deductions will be awarded first place.
And when they said that, I did know that we had won.
I couldn't even believe it. I honestly felt like I was dreaming. I was waiting for something or someone to just like hit me and be like, this isn't real life. We were hands down the underdogs, and never ever in a million years did I think that it was possible for us to get first. I didn't even think that third or second was something that was possible.
To conclude their successful weekend, they were welcomed back to campus by the local police and fire departments, news stations, friends, and family. Erica Condon for The Pulse, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Now we have Gina D'Amico with senior captain Jesse Esposito telling us about the journey to get there and the feeling of being a champion. Gina?
Thanks, Cole. Hi, Jesse. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So did you ever imagine being a national champion here at Sacred Heart?
No, I didn't. This has been such a dream, and to be a national champion at a university for my last year cheering has been one of my biggest accomplishments in this sport. And we started out really in August, so we've been practicing all season to get to where we are today, and we never thought in a million years that this would happen to us, so it's an amazing accomplishment.
That's awesome. Now, going into this competition, what were you guys hoping to place? Were you going in there saying, we hope to get in top 10? What were your feelings?
So we weren't actually hoping to place. We were just hoping to go out on the mat and do our best, and we were super prepared going into it, so I think that helped with our confidence. We weren't really thinking about the placements, so when we won, it was a complete surprise. The teams in our division are extremely, extremely good, so the fact that we went out and we did like a very clean routine and nobody fell is the judges saw it as like they worked so hard and they did what we want them to do. So our scores just went right up there, and it was amazing.
That's awesome. Now, preparing for an event like this, how long does it take? What are the hours you guys have to put in?
So we've been practicing since we got here for pre-camp. So we come before the UCA camp, and then we go to UCA camp. We learn a lot there together as a team, and then we come back and we start preseason. And then when the semester starts, we practice 5 times a week. And we also do 2 lifts with the athletic trainers at Sacred Heart.
Wow. So as you're about to take the mat, you guys perform for one time, around 2 minutes or so. How do you guys stay focused?
So before we go on, everyone is super nervous. We go to warm-ups, and we usually try and have our best warm-up so that we know when we go out, we just did great in warm-ups, so we're going to do it again just one more time. But I think for me, when we step out there, everything else like goes behind me, and I just focus on like the people on the mat. We tell the girls like nothing else matters around you other than the 19 girls on the mat, and doing what you've been doing at practice for 6 months now. So the nerves kind of go away at first. Like thinking about it, it's extremely nerve-wracking, but
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Looking at all those people while performing must be hard. But now coming back, what recognition have you guys received as a team?
So when we first heard that we won, there was a lot of social media being posted. UCA, the competition, we felt support from them. They had posted us like 2 times, and that was huge for us because we've never been recognized by them. And then we also heard before we came back that we were getting a police escort from the airport. So cool. Sacred Heart got us a police escort home, and when we got back to the pit center, there was a bunch of athletes, posters, signs, and a bunch of the faculty just there to support us and cheer us on. And then there was also 2 news reporters, so we ended up being on 2 different news channels, and so that support has been amazing, just like representing Connecticut for them to be able to congratulate us.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming today, Jesse. All of us here at the Pulse, we wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
Congratulations to the girls. They weren't the only champions this semester. Now we have Dan Gardella recapping the Connecticut Ice Tournament. Dan?
For the first time ever, Connecticut had a face-off on the ice for statewide bragging rights, but it was the team on Park Avenue's own that took home the title. I was lucky enough to be able to cover the story. On January 25th and 26th, Webster Bank Arena was home to the inaugural Connecticut Ice Tournament, which featured Yale, UConn, Quinnipiac, and Sacred Heart. The Pioneers defeated Yale in the semifinals before taking down 17th-ranked Quinnipiac to take the inaugural tournament championship. For head coach C.J. Maritolo, a Connecticut resident, this tournament showed everything right in Connecticut hockey.
Yeah, I mean, cutting my teeth here, learning how to play hockey in the state of Connecticut, playing my youth hockey days here, seeing my kids grow up here. My son played youth hockey. It means a lot to have an event like this where everybody is in one place. It's a testament to our state. It's a testament to the work that all these youth hockey coaches do to produce the type of players that they do. The passion in this state is unparalleled, and I'm just glad that people got to see a little bit of that this weekend at this event, and I think the sky's the limit for this event as we all continue to help grow it.
Overall, the weekend-long tournament was a success. Over the 2 days, more than 10,000 fans came to Bridgeport, but no fans played a bigger role than the Sacred Heart students.
I mean, just this week in class and walking to lift or practice, like people come up to you I've never met before, and they're just like, "Hey, congrats on a great weekend." I was so happy for you guys, and some of them never seen a game before, and they went and watched us.
And I was talking to a few of our guys, and they said as they skated out, they got chills up and down their body. The administration to push this event, support this event, and then the student body rallying behind their classmates, it was the difference.
Cotton was named the tournament's most valuable player. In the 2 victories, the seniors scored 2 goals and dished 2 assists. Cotton calls this weekend a lifetime memory.
just walking in and being a part of the struggles we've had and the adversity we faced over the past few years, and to be able to kind of go head to head against some pretty premier teams in the country and in Connecticut who have been in national championships and Frozen Four appearances and all that and everything in between. For us to go right at them and at a home rink and take something like a championship like that, it's something I'll never forget. And just looking back, I really hope to come back here as much as I can and sit with my old teammates and say we won this thing the very first time.
It is not very often that a hockey program has the opportunity to experience playoff hockey in the middle of the season. Now that they have a taste of it, they want more.
For us, it's been one of the best feelings we've had in a long time. Just as athletes in our careers, it was something that we'll never forget. Just when the buzzer going off, throwing our stuff, and just kind of celebrating with each other. But for us, we want that feeling again, and we don't want to look back and have any regrets about this season.
Yeah, our guys aren't going to forget what that felt like to win. They're not going to forget what it took to get there, the sacrifices, fighting through adversity. And I think those are the things that we can draw from as we continue on down the home stretch and get into Atlantic hockey playoffs.
Here. Reporting from Webster Bank Arena in Bridgeport, Connecticut, I'm Dan Gardella.
Adding to their victory, Sacred Heart announced they will be building a $60 million premier hockey arena on West Campus, which is scheduled to be open in 2022.
When we come back, we will learn about the difficulties of life as a student athlete and the impact Kobe Bryant had on our campus.
Welcome. When you become a Pioneer, you will have 1,048 days from move-in to graduation. How will you use them?
How will you serve?
Where will you explore?
How will you lead?
How will you connect?
How will you express yourself?
How will you show your spirit?
What will you make?
You will have 1,048 days. Make them count.
Make them count. Make them count.
Make them count.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
We can all imagine the life of a student athlete is anything but easy, especially when you're an injured student athlete. Anaya Vance brings us a closer look at our own Asia McCrae and what these student athletes have to overcome on their road to recovery.
Sacred Heart is a Division I athletic university where athletes are taught to have pride, vision, and character to be the best versions of themselves. Being an athlete at the university is a commitment that requires a lot of time as well as dedication.
Being a student athlete has opened many doors for me, and it has made me become a more mature person when it comes to time management, focusing on what the goal is at hand. I have to balance a lot being an athlete and also being a student. So I think it just gives me that extra push to be mature and to grow as a person.
Asia McCrae is a basketball star as well as a diligent student.
I can't wait till people get to see Asia as an athlete again. Asia is a competitor. She has a high motor, works hard every single opportunity she has to work hard. You should see how she's crushing her approach to this rehab for her ACL. So I think whenever Asia steps on the floor, she brings a great element of self-motivation, and she brings a great element of competition, which is always really, really fun to watch any athlete be able to have that level of self-motivation when they step onto a court.
With the endless amount of time these student athletes put into their sport, they often overwork themselves, causing serious injuries.
I was injured in Kentucky last winter, and it was hard because I had to go on a plane to come back to school. So I was in a wheelchair and in a huge knee brace on a plane for a few hours. So that was rough.
A study done by atYourOwnRisk.org, statistics reveal that 90% of student athletes get injured, and 54% reported that they have played while having an injury.
Tearing my ACL was my first major injury in college. In my college career, I've had minor bumps and bruises like ankle injuries or just knee bumps. So tearing my ACL is my first official major injury in college.
Once Asia was hurt, she had to take a leave from the court and put all her focus into regaining her strength so that she could get back to doing what she loves the most. Mentally, that wasn't easy.
I feel like depression was a thing for me last semester. I think I really was down because I wasn't able to play the sport that I loved, like something was taken from me for a whole year, and I think that dwells on you.
Not only is it hard managing the life of being a student athlete, but it is even harder being an injured student athlete trying to make a comeback.
I wasn't sure if I was ready to come back to play, and my knee never really felt great, and I was going through a lot. I had rehab every day. And because I don't play, I have to do extra workouts. So on top of going into practice, being a student, and just being a young woman, I have to deal with a lot of ups and downs.
Even though Asia is not physically playing basketball due to her injuries, she still is required to attend all practices and games.
I think it's really important that they stay involved. They feel like they're a part of the team. Now, I know that they do other things on the sideline, right? They'll go and have injury rehab, injury maintenance and care, but I think it's really important that they come to practice. They feel like they're part of something, so they have motivation to return to it.
While juggling classes and still being an active member of the team, Asia has found a way to make physical therapy fit into her already packed schedule.
It's definitely hard, which I feel like was why I was so depressed last semester, but I feel like my teammates, my coaching staff, my trainers, and as well as my family and friends, their support and kind words have pushed me to be able to just juggle it. It's not easy, but once you put your mind to it and you just break down and write everything out, basically what you have to do, and just manage all of that, I think it just comes full circle and it becomes easier as the days go by.
During Asia's time of depression, she found help through the university, allowing her to better cope with her injury on and off the court.
So here on campus, we have this program called Heart to Heart, which is a program for athletes that go through injury and, like myself, go through depression, stressful times, sadness. It's a group of literally just people who have multiple different injuries that come together. And you guys just talk about your injury, talk about how you deal with it, talk about your rehab process. And they meet, I think, once a month. And it's ran by an athletic trainer named Caitlin. And I've signed up for this program because I felt like last semester I struggled a lot with depression and sadness because of my injury. So I thought talking to others and getting their viewpoints on it would be important for me to help me get through my process.
It has been a long, hard road to recovery, but Asia will be back on the court where she belongs next fall. For The Pulse, Anaya Vance, Fairfield, Connecticut.
So Asia, what was it like coming back from an injury?
I would say it's definitely hard because I had to battle a lot with mental depression and just being confident in myself. I think an injury is a lot of mental more than physical, so just getting through that part was hard for me.
Well, we all look forward to seeing you take the court again.
Thank you. On Sunday, January 26th, basketball great Kobe Bryant passed away in a tragic helicopter accident. 9 passengers, including Bryant's daughter Gianna, perished. Bryant played 20 seasons with the Los Angeles Lakers, winning 5 championships.
It's been just 2 weeks since the tragic accident in Calabasas, California, when we lost one of NBA's legends, Kobe Bryant, and 8 others. The impact of his death was felt across the globe and garnered a strong sense of unity from fans of all backgrounds. I went around Sacred Heart and asked the community how they think his name will live on.
Kobe Bryant was a basketball player for the Los Angeles Lakers for 20 years, so let alone he's a basketball icon.
I think his name will live on with just one word:
greatness, that idea of Mamba mentality and what it means to be great in anything and everything you do.
I think of dedication, simply because of his dedication to not only the team, but to his family, to the community.
Oh, his name will definitely live on without a doubt. I mean, he's reached the masses, obviously on and off the court.
So I feel like a lot of people hear about the words Mamba mentality, and that kind of embodies how hard of a worker he was. And I think it kind of transcends not just basketball, but also athletics as a whole.
As a kid, you saw him come in night in, night out, giving it his all, no matter what injuries, no matter, how bad his team was, no matter how bad the season was, he always gave it his all.
I've never really been a big basketball fan, but ever since the tragic event happened, I've heard different videos with his wife, his family, and his friends, and he just seems like a really great person. He was a very big family man, and I even heard that he, in an interview, that he actually got the helicopter so this way he could get to his daughter's recitals and their games even faster because of the LA traffic. And I think that really shows how above and beyond he can go for his family, for his friends, and for his community as well.
We already know the accolades, 5-time NBA champion, all of that, great basketball player.
I know that he's done around 200 Make-A-Wish foundations that he requested for kids. And not only has he inspired those kids that he requested to help, but also he's inspired people like me, people like all over Sacred Heart University and outside Sacred Heart University to really kind of reach out for those people that are in need of help.
His hard work always hit me hard. Always in high school when I was an athlete, it made me get up at 5 and put in the extra work before and after practice.
And as a kid looking up to that, I always wanted to give my all, and I saw him as an idol. And each and every day, I never quit doing anything. I always come in and give it 100%, and that's what Kobe Bryant passed down to me.
Everyone's going to remember him for being a hard worker, as a father, obviously as an athlete during his basketball career. When he won an Academy Award for his short Dear Basketball, I think that's what's going to, stick with people for years to come.
I remember as a kid throwing stuff in the trash and yelling Kobe, so I hope that lives on for my kids and my kids' kids. So
I think what he was starting to do in terms of his legacy, in terms of being a family man, coaching his daughter to play at UConn and to be a great and to carry on that legacy, I think he'll just be remembered as just greatness, great father, great man on and off the court. So rest in peace, Kobe.
I think that his legacy definitely will live on, and that a lot of people are going to remember him.
It's very sad, what happened to him. He was one of the greats, and Kobe, man, we'll miss you.
Reporting from Sacred Heart University, I'm Quinn Garvey for The Pulse.
Here at Sacred Heart, we experienced our own loss this past week. Peter DeSalvo, a member of the class of 2023, passed away. Our thoughts and prayers are with Peter's family and friends.
The continuing growth of Sacred Heart University has produced an immense interest from students in the world of communications. As a result, Sacred Heart established a new School of Communication and Media Arts, simply known as SCMA. The school offers degrees on both a graduate and undergraduate level. Students have an opportunity to study public relations and corporate communications, film, television and media production, journalism, media literacy, and theater arts. The faculty includes renowned media professionals with real-world experience and academic prestige.
Classroom experience here is really hands-on. You're at the technical director's chair and getting to work with the switchboard. So I feel really confident going into an interview and being like, yes, I've sat at that chair, and yes, I've done that job, and I know how to work a teleprompter.
The production facilities include 2 television studios, 2 screening rooms, 6 post-production editing labs and multimedia classrooms, a radio station, media theater, and forum for events. Our students describe their experience as
exciting, contemporary,
artistic,
empowering, and extraordinary.
It has been more than 50 years since the death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Each year, Sacred Heart University celebrates the life and the work of the great man. Here are Eddie Rivera and Priscilla Serrano with 2 reports.
I'd like to use as a subject from which to speak this afternoon the other America. And I use this subject because there are literally two Americas.
On January 29th, Sacred Heart University held their annual Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. commemoration in the Edgerton Center on the heart of main campus. Each year, the event casts different cultural performances from poetry.
I should preface this by saying this is not the scene in which my problems are solved and years of internalized racism are erased.
To singing.
If I can see.
To the event's main speaker, Dr. Steve Perry.
In this state, 20% of us are people of color, black or Latino, as it's defined. 70% of the inmates are black or Latino.
Keynote speaker for the event, Steve Perry, is an educator and founder of 4 charter schools throughout the New York City area.
For instance, the school system, why is that child who lives in Bridgeport only gets to go to schools in their neighborhood unless they can buy their way out? Same foundations of slavery, that some people could actually buy their way out of freedom, into freedom.
Dr. Perry brought along 7 students from his Capital Prep Bridgeport campus for a live performance of Dear America, their address to the American people on inequity, while their video played in the background.
At first, it started off as just an assignment of us just writing to America about like our concerns, stuff like that, and like what we actually wanted to say to America. But then she asked us who basically wants to stand up and like speak out and stuff like that. And I raised my hand because I felt like what I had to say was important.
America, you may still try to keep us behind and put the shackles around our hands, but your objective will never be reached. Dear America!
Unfortunately, taking knees, raising clenched fists, and saying Black Lives Matter isn't good enough.
The biggest thing that Dear America is it's a call to action that sometimes you just have to stop and you have to listen.
As part of carrying out Dr. King's message, you can watch the full Dear America video on Capital Prep's YouTube page. I'm Eddie Rivera for The Post, Fairfield, Connecticut.
A ceremony to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was held at the Edgerton Theater at Sacred Heart University. Students and faculty attended the event, which featured motivational speaker, education leader, and TV host, Dr. Steve Perry.
Please offer a warm welcome to Dr. Steve Perry.
Perry's message focused on equity and equality, but for student Anna Woodard, his message also inspired her on how to take action.
Sometimes I find myself really getting overwhelmed with like how to help out, where to even start, but like what he said, just by kind of shutting down people who say something that rubs you the wrong way, that's easy to do. You can do that and help people that way.
The event also included a performance by students from Capital Preparatory Harbor and Bridgeport, who also brought a message of their own.
I hope that the message that they take with them is that equality is always a necessity in the society that we live in and just the world that we live in. With so much people being in it and so much different perspectives on topics, there should always be equality in it.
Dr. Perry also hopes that those who attended the event take a valuable lesson with them.
The feeling of discomfort that they feel or felt for 20 minutes is a feeling of discomfort that many people of color feel every single moment that they're on campus, and that they get some level of empathy and as a result begin to make the fundamental changes that are necessary.
The event is hosted annually by the Office of Volunteer Programs and Service Learning at Sacred Heart University. Reporting for The Pulse, I'm Priscilla Serrano.
With the newly opened residence halls on campus, the administration held its dedication of the new buildings. I was able to attend the event and get some insight on the new halls.
This spring semester, Sacred Heart opened its brand new residence buildings, Pier Giorgio Fossati and Elie Wiesel halls. On Thursday, January 30th, the university held a dedication for its new dorms. The event included speakers Marissa Martyr.
I'm honored to dedicate this building in the name of Saint Fossati.
And Nadine Strossen.
Speak about such a special person, Elie Wiesel.
followed by guided tours through the buildings. Construction started nearly a year and a half ago, with the dorms being built on the upper quad. With the buildings being finished before the start of the semester, students were able to move in for the spring. We talked to RHD Danielle Muskia about the excitement of moving in.
We would look, from the library scene over the quad, the lower quad, and just look at that bridge and you'd be like, I cannot wait to watch those sunsets on the bridge. Looking at each improvement every day and every week of this building was what made the anticipation and the excitement so worth it, because now being here, it all makes sense. The one thing, like I was saying before, that really stands out is the bridge. And that was something that we would all talk about at the Marriott, and that we would look forward to, really seeking to spend a lot of time there and make memories there, and making it seem like, this is what Elie Wiesel and Pier Giorgio Frassati mean to us. You look out to the left, that's our current. That is what has made Sacred Heart to now. We can see the chapel, the lower quad, the library, students, in passing, see the president's office down by Milady Hall. And then the other side, you get to see the insane amount of growth that is happening on this campus. And you get to see what's made Sacred Heart what Sacred Heart is, and what's going to continue to make Sacred Heart what it is. That is something that they'll be able to continue to resonate with, is that this is where we were before Upper Quad, but this is how we're going to continue to grow as students here at Sacred Heart and really embody what being a Sacred Heart student means.
The new residence hall's names are as interesting as the buildings themselves. Born in 1901, Pier Giorgio Frassati was an active charity worker at the turn of the century. He went out of his way to bring better aid to Italy's poor, as well as work for social justice reforms. Though he died early in his life in 1925, he was eventually beatified by Pope John Paul II in 1990. Elie Wiesel was a Romanian writer, activist, and Holocaust survivor. Along with being awarded the Nobel Peace Prize, Wiesel was an active advocate for human rights across the world. After surviving Auschwitz during the Second World War, he eventually moved to New York City. Once there, Wiesel wrote over 40 novels, many of which talked about his experience in the Holocaust. Though he passed away in July 2016, his legacy will live on as a beacon of hope for humanity everywhere. These amazing men are examples of the good parts of humanity, and act as models to be followed by everyone. For The Pulse, I'm Cole Bruni.
We love knowing what SHU students are thinking, and we're back with a fun segment this time. We decided to ask who SHU students think is going to win this year's Super Bowl. Let's see if any of them were correct. Laura Green and Nikki Ziner are taking the pulse.
On February 2nd, 99.9 million people watched the San Francisco 49ers battle the Kansas City Chiefs, all for one title, Super Bowl champion. The Chiefs were led to a 31-20 victory by Patrick Mahomes. Laura Green and I went coast to coast of Fairfield County, asking SHU students who they thought would be victorious this year.
All right, I think the San Francisco 49ers are coming away with this one. Jimmy G and the boys.
I got 49ers 27-24. Defense wins championships.
I got 49ers 24-13. 49ers just a more well-balanced team.
I would like the 49ers to win.
I'm going to go 49ers.
I think the Pats are going to win.
I think the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl.
I think Kansas City's going to win.
Now, let's look back and see which one of our fellow pioneers had the correct guess.
All right, I think the San Francisco 49ers are coming away with this one. Jimmy G and the boys.
I got 49ers 27-24. Defense wins championships.
I got 49ers 24-13.
I would like the 49ers to win.
I'm going to go 49ers.
I think the Pats are going to win.
I think the 49ers are going to win the Super Bowl.
I think Kansas City's going to win.
Taking the pulse, this is Laura Green and Nikki Ziner, Fairfield, Connecticut.
Cole, tell me, who did you have winning this year's Super Bowl?
Well, in my mind, it was definitely the Chiefs' game to lose. And now that we've seen it, Patty Mahomes has an MVP and a Super Bowl MVP in the first 2 full seasons he's played. So I think we can expect some big things out of the young man going forward.
Nice. That's all for this show. I'm Asia McCrae.
And I'm Cole Bruni. Thanks for joining us.